Okay, today I am at Tourism Cafe, a lovely tourism cafe with two of two of my great friends, Mohammad Reza and Shahrzad. How you doing,
Very
guys?
good to see you. Thank you so much. You are always welcome here.
Yeah.
And we are so happy for having you here on this nice, brilliant Friday.
Oh, great! Yeah, it's a pleasure. Okay,
Sure.
so how you doing, Shahrzad? How are you doing?
Okay. aynı Farsçayı
Hello, everyone. So, just 2 or 3 sentences in English, please.
Okay.
For the sake of testing, please.
Hello everyone, you're listening to MY Podcast, one of the best podcasts all over the world.
Thank you very much.
You call it MY or MY?
Envy. Good question. Yeah, Envy podcast. Welcome to another episode of MY Podcast, not my podcast. Today, I'm speaking with 2 wonderful guests, Mohammad Reza Akbarizad and Shahrzad Baghaipour, the passionate minds behind Tourism Cafe, a unique space where English learners and teachers, travelers and locals come together to connect, share stories, and practice their language skills in a warm and welcoming atmosphere. I've known Shahrzad for about 3 years now, and she has always been an inspiring and energetic presence. As for Mohammad Reza, I've been following his work for a long time, but we only met in person a few months ago. From the very first conversation, I could tell how dedicated he is to creating meaningful experiences for people through his cafe, his lovely cafe. Mohammad Reza and Shahrzad have built something truly special, a place full of positive vibes, hospitality, and a shared love for culture and language. In this episode 7, we dive into their journey, how Mohammad Reza, a former tour guide and English teacher, turned his vision into reality, and how Shahrzad, an English teacher with an MBA, has played a key role in growing the cafe's community and online presence. We also talk about their ambitious plans to expand Tourism Cafe to Iran's tourism triangle, Yazd, Isfahan, and Shiraz. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy this conversation with some smooth jazz music in the background, one of my favorite genres. I hope you love this episode as much as I loved recording it. Today I am at Tourism Cafe, one of my favorite cafes in Yazd, my hometown, and I am with 2 of my great friends, Mohammad Reza Akbarizad and Shahrzad Baghaipour, and we are doing episode 7, and I feel excited. How are you guys?
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Thank you so much. I'm great. And you're most welcome to your cafe, Tourism Cafe.
Thanks. And before we go any further, I'd like to, thank you for providing such an English-speaking environment for English learners, English enthusiasts. I think you are doing something great in Yazd, and Congratulations.
Thank you so much for this great feedback. I really appreciate it. And this is what we get energy from.
And by the way, I'm telling you the truth. First, let me ask you a simple question, because I think many of the listeners don't know much about you. Some of them know you well, but many of them don't know much about you, don't have much information about you. I mean, Mohammad Reza and Shahrzad.
I think many don't.
I don't know. I have no idea.
We are really famous, you know. And
You are.
We can be a role model for other people, but I don't know why the other people don't know us. Maybe with this very famous podcast that is MY Podcast, we'll have a good opportunity to be known for others.
Yeah, to become more famous.
Yeah.
Because now you're like celebrities in Yazd.
Oh my gosh.
And
How lucky we are, actually.
I'm flattered.
yeah, but all kidding aside, lots of English lovers, English language lovers, and lots of people in Yazd, living in Yazd, and maybe in other cities know your cafe and are familiar with the things, the things you have been doing over the past years. And first, Mohammad Reza, tell me about your English background. I know you can speak English, but I don't know if you have ever experienced teaching English or not. Could you please tell a little about your English journey?
Sure, yeah, it's a great point for, to start our
Speech.
Yes, to start our interview. And I should say that I started learning English a little bit late. I just started learning when I was 25. And after 4 or 5 years studying, I started teaching English at the same institute that I was studying in. And the name of this institute was Safir. So later on, for 3 years, I was teaching as an English teacher in different levels of knowledge and fluencies.
Great. How about you, Shahrzad? I know I have known you for, I think, 3 or 4 years at least. I have known you for quite a long time, and I know you are one of the best English teachers in Yazd, and I think you are passionate about learning and teaching English. And now it's your turn to talk a little about your the English journey you've been on over the past, I don't know how many years.
Actually, I started learning English since I was in high school, but I don't want to call or to name the institute which I studied in, because I can say that unfortunately that was not a good institute. But since as you mentioned, I'm always passionate to learn English. I do love learning English. I tried to start my own journey, and I continued studying and learning English when I went to university. I studied English literature at Yazd University, and after that, of course, I changed my major and I studied MBA, that is related to business. But since then, I started teaching English at one of them. The first institute was Davangustar Institute. And of course, I do have lots of experience going to different institutes like Dr. Vaziri, just a short period of time, but that was good, fortunate for me. And I had really good friends around me, like you yourself, dear Hamid Soleimani.
Thanks.
Dear Dr. Vaziri, who's our professor, and other friends. Yeah,
great. And you have taught at VLI, Vazuri Language Institute, before, and I didn't know that.
Yeah, just a short period of time. I remember that I went to, it was somehow like a free discussion and street talk. The book was a street talk. The doctor knows that. But
And you were there as an English
learner,
not as an English teacher.
Yeah, I was,
got it.
I don't know, I was just a teenager.
Oh.
Yeah, that time I went there.
Okay, and you did your bachelor's degree in English literature.
Yeah.
So why did you choose English literature? Why didn't you choose, for example, English language teaching?
To be honest with you, that time I didn't know what is the difference between these courses or majors. I just randomly, or it was accepted at Yazd University because it was my own hometown. So I just studied English literature, but to be honest with you, this was not something that I liked or I was fond of. So I tried to change the major, and this is the reason that I studied for my master's degree. I continued business, but I love teaching English. I do love speaking English, and that's
It is obvious. Your passion for English and your passion for speaking, learning, and teaching English is crystal clear. Okay, so Mohammad Reza, you have experience teaching English. Why didn't you? Now you're not teaching English anymore, are you?
Sometimes, but
For
I'm not
fun?
focused on it. Yeah, kinda. To be honest, no more time for teaching. Because today, like in this English cafe, I mean tourism cafe, I should keep myself available for receiving people who come here. In fact, audience who come to our place for practicing their speaking skills.
So running a tourism cafe, running your cafe is now this is the noise of the grinder, but no problem. Yeah, I actually
Sorry.
not noise. Let's say the sound, because that was beautiful and music to my ears, honestly speaking. And now I think running tourism cafe is time taking, energy consuming, and I guess you don't have much time. You don't have much time for example, teaching and some other activities, right?
That's the point. In fact, I think as a teacher, I should like be focused on.
The barista just broke something. Just broke
Oh my
something.
gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Normal. Sometimes this happens.
Different atmosphere this episode, and on purpose. Yeah, so everything is happening naturally. So
I was just talking about this, that as a teacher, I think that I should be more focused on my teaching, like let's say procedure. So this is what I have in my mind. Like when I'm running this cafe and I have a lot of things to do. Like to be honest, I find a lot on my plate, and I'm afraid I cannot spend that much of time that is needed for being a good teacher. So this is in fact the main reason that I prefer not to teach.
you teach, yeah. So you are trying to run your cafe, manage your cafe in the most professional way, and you'd rather focus on your cafe most of the time. I mean, in your professional life, and in your professional life, your primary focus is tourism cafe.
Exactly.
And
That's it.
how long has tourism cafe been around? When did you open or establish tourism cafe, and talk a little about the first days of
Sure.
your cafe.
Sure, it's near to be 5
Uh-huh.
in just like less than a month. It will become 5 years that we started this English corner in our town. And it goes back to 2020, the time that me and
It's been 5 years.
yes,
Nice.
thank you. That me and another friend, we decided to start an English-speaking environment in our city.
Yeah. And it must have been difficult, and because providing an English atmosphere to people, English speakers, English learners, teachers in Yazd, in Iran, must be difficult, or must have been difficult. And what were your first steps in turning your idea or your ideas into reality?
It was a while that we were just talking about this matter that students, better to say English learners, they need somewhere to practice their knowledge. And this was something they couldn't find, at least not enough, inside institutes and their classes. As a teacher, I could see that even the most talkative student can just maybe find 5 or a maximum 10 minutes for speaking. And imagine in my institute, it was 3 times a week. So all in all, less than half an hour in a week. And we know that this is not enough for being, like, for mastering your speaking.
Yeah.
So we just started thinking of making somewhere that students and as well teachers, they can get together for, in a way, making a kind of new culture. On the other side, we were having tourists. Almost at the same time that I started teaching, I started guiding tours. I'm spending more time with travelers or
Tourists from other countries.
From other countries, as you said. So it was a very good fortune for me to understand how much English environment and the living kind of, let's say, English life can affect and can impress your speaking. And so the other part of this project was going to be dedicated to tourists who are interested in talking to people,
Iranians.
especially youngs.
Yeah.
Yes, young Iranians. Better to say young locals. It was very common among them. For example, people from Netherlands. They are very friendly. Like at the end of the day, they asked me that, okay, where we can go to see youngs and talk to them, play game with them, and just see their boyfriends, girlfriends, and their culture. So in this case, I found no place to recommend them. So this was another part of our project, like making this place on one side good enough for English learners to come, and on the other side, a nice place for tourists to find young locals for enjoying their time and spending time with.
So kind of the dots, as Steve Jobs would say, the dots, your ideas connected along the way. You were and you are a tour guide, an English teacher, or someone interested in learning and teaching English. And now you have a cafe, so the dots connected along the way. And
exactly.
Now in your cafe, tourists can come to your cafe. Foreign tourists from different countries can come to your cafe. And nowadays, we don't see tourists
Less
often.
chances, unfortunately.
But when they are in Yazd, when they are around, they can come to your cafe and become familiar with our culture, young locals, and become familiar with our customs and traditions, and they can see that Iranians can speak English. And another thing, you have created a cafe a place in which English learners and English teachers like me, Shahrzad, and some other English learners and teachers, in which they can speak in English, have fun, and without being worried about making mistakes, for example.
Thank you. I think this is like this place, based on what we talked about, like the main ideas that we were having in our mind for today, can be a nice place for teachers to recommend to their students. Because someday I was a teacher in an institute, and I feel what they feel. As a teacher, when my students, they came to me asking, teacher, what we can do about our speaking, we want to boost it up. So I had no other recommendation except going to Old Town, find some tourists, and talk to them. This could give them, let's say, the right feeling of speaking in English, talking to someone who could not understand Persian. So, they could feel what this is. So, later on, having this place, and as I said, on one side having tourists in our place, this could be a very nice for teachers to recommend to their students to find right people for speaking. However, as you mentioned, unfortunately, like very soon we lost this fortune, in fact, in our country, and today we have less chances in this case. But we tried to make this English environment ourselves.
Great, and Mihrad is here. Thanks, Mihrad.
Thank you.
Where is my masala chai?
I will bring it.
Oh, thank you, man. You see, even
We serve soon.
everybody, even the people working at Tourism Cafe, the barista, everybody speaks English. And that is one of the positive points, one of the great things about your cafe.
This is exactly what I wanted to talk about. We tried to make this atmosphere for English learners to enjoy, to practice, and let's say to get more connected with English culture.
When you saw there was a small number of tourists in Iran, in Yazd, you had no choice but to roll up your sleeves and to take action, and you decided to open this cafe, and now I think your cafe is contributing to the English language community and is helping English learners, has been helping English learners and English teachers and lots of people over the past years. Now, Shahrzad has been quiet for the last, I think, 2 hours, because, and it's not my fault. It's
it's just his fault. I know.
yeah, he's bad. Mohammad Reza's fault.
I wanted to mention that.
Now he's getting warm.
Yes.
Now there is no stopping him. There is no mute button on him now. I'm kidding, Mohammad Reza.
No problem. I just wanted to mention that first years we had more chances, and yet even now sometimes we can have some tourists in our cafe. But this better to name it pivot. It just happened when we found that we are having less chances for having tourists. And thanks to Shahrzad, this is what I wanted to add. Thanks to her, we could go for this pivot step by step and keep this English corner practical enough for English learners.
And available to English learners.
Exactly, that's it.
And I was going to ask Shahrzad some questions, and I am sure you are an inseparable part of and member of Tourism Cafe, and I am sure you play a big role in Tourism Cafe, and I want you to talk about your role or your roles here in this lovely cafe. And I usually see you in their posts on
Instagram.
On the Tourism Cafe Instagram page. What are your roles here?
Superstar.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, a celebrity.
Of course, you know that I'm a celebrity and everyone knows me, but not at this place actually. Just kidding. First off, I want to mention something about tourists that you were talking about. I do remember when I went to an English institute, and I didn't have the chance to speak in a real environment. I was just at high school. I was a teenager. But at that time, you can't believe it, but whenever I came out of the school, sorry, I didn't tell you. Actually, I studied English at my high school as well. My high school major was English too.
Really?
Yeah, it was exception. It was just
tourism, like English
and tourism. Yeah, it was a temporary major that they decided to see what happens, and it was in 3 or 4 cities. That was Tehran, Shiraz, Yazd, and I think it was in Isfahan. Anyway,
so you were part of an experiment.
Yeah, exactly. I was part of just an experiment. Yeah, and our school was ILI. The school was there. Okay, we went from morning to noon. We went to ILI Institute, and it was in a place located in the middle of the city. And I do remember that whenever we came out of the school, we could find lots of tourists there on the street, and it wasn't really difficult to find tourists.
Thank you, Mehrad. Sorry to interrupt you, Shahrzad.
It's okay.
Thanks, Mehrad.
Bon appétit.
Oh, thanks. And thanks, man.
Thank you.
See you around. And by the way, sorry, just out of curiosity, what are you drinking? Coffee?
Yeah, it is latte.
Latte.
Yeah. Okay, so I think it's gonna boost your energy. But
I'm addicted. I don't know whether it will have any influence on me or not. But
me too. 2 cups of coffee every day, once in the morning and once in the afternoon, and I can't help it. Maybe in the future I will cut down on coffee. Maybe I will quit coffee, but It's been
Okay.
around 5 years, and no, I really love coffee. I am addicted to coffee. Okay, so let's not deviate from what we were talking about.
Yeah.
You were talking about ILI and your high school days.
Yeah. I was talking about high school that whenever I came out of the high school classes with my friends, we were looking for tourists. And I do remember, for example, that we found a tourist from Japan, another one, for example, from Netherlands, and that was really interesting. That I remember that once I took one of those tourists to Dakhme, that is just a place with nothing, I say. But the tourist was really attracted in that place, and she said, "Oh my gosh, I love this place." And I was thinking, as a teenager, okay, you want to change your place with me? I can go to Netherlands. You can live in Yazd. It's okay for you.
You could stay here.
Yeah, you could stay here. I'm okay with it.
Yep, that'd be fine. Yeah.
But as you mentioned, unfortunately nowadays we cannot see that many tourists around. But it was about 2.5 or about 3 years ago that on one of my friend's Instagram stories, I found this place. I was acquainted with this place, and I decided to come to this cafe. Actually, I'm not a kind of person who goes to cafes a lot, but I just want to sit in a cozy place, study on my own, or at my own pace, something like that. And whenever, for example, my friends invited me to another cafe, I didn't go to anywhere, and they said, okay, just we can find Shahrzad in bookstores because she doesn't like to go to any other places. But you can't believe me, I don't know what happened. The first time that I came here,
You got hooked.
Yeah, I
got
was
hooked on the place.
Yeah, exactly. I got hooked on this place, and I was looking for more chances to come here more often. And I couldn't believe that one day I'll be a person that I don't know. You say, okay, I have a role in here. Of course, I do remember that we had and still have lots of friends, good friends that. They help tourism cafe to boost. There are, for example, hosts or the people who attend the gatherings, and they're really good people. They're knowledgeable people, and I have a really good chance to be familiar or getting acquainted with these people. And this was one of the reasons that I liked the place, because I saw that everyone who comes to this place that has a purpose, they want to boost, they want to, for example, they want to they had a goal in their life. They wanted to do something, and lots of people, unfortunately, they wanted to emigrate to other countries. This was the reason that they wanted to have a place, to find a place for like a real environment to practice their English, but not in classes, just like a real environment. And so I was hooked, as you said, in this place as well, and I continued coming here. But since I was an English teacher, I was thinking like this. Okay, I was just looking for the things that I can teach as well to people. So I started attending the different gatherings which are held here, and of course we have. I've told you we have some other friends, good friends, that they manage the gatherings, and I became one of them at the first step, and that's it. You want to continue?
One of the best ones.
Yeah. As I said, Shahrzad is like an inseparable member or a part of Tourism Cafe.
Cheese.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Mohammad Reza, I think she's been contributing a lot to this cafe over the past, how many years? 3 or 4 years?
No. almost near 3 years, 2.5 or more than
2.5.
2 and 7 months, I can say. Yeah.
2 years and
7
7 months,
Yeah.
To be exact. And
I said you're so right, and I cannot agree anymore.
yeah,
This
I
is
couldn't
so
agree
right,
more.
and I
Yeah.
couldn't agree more. Pardon.
no, I wasn't correcting you. I was just, yeah.
Anyway, she has been very helpful, and very quickly she just started managing some stuff. Try to solve some problems, find some solutions for problems we had. Firstly, you were talking about the English community in Yazd. I should say that Shahrzad was having a great role in introducing this place to, let's say, to a bigger part of this community. And she has been a great chance for this project, in fact.
Lucky you.
my
And
gosh.
Lucky Tourism Cafe. Yeah, and
Like she's not separated from Tourism Cafe. We
Yeah.
all are same.
yeah,
Gosh. I
and
got red.
no, but I think Mohammad Reza and I are telling the truth, and you both are. Most of the time, I think it's not possible to be full of energy at all times, but most of the time you both are vivacious and full of energy. There is always a smile on your faces, and I think whenever I see you and other people see you, offer a warm smile to them, and I think your smiles are natural, and I think that's one of the things that makes this cafe a great place and a lovely place. You are welcoming, receptive, hospitable, kind people, and kind friends. Sorry, I used the word people. No offense. Kind friends, and you just keep up the good job. Keep it up, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
One of the things, Mohammad Reza, that you do cafe tourism does is organizing events. I think various events for different purposes have been held at a tourism cafe. Can you talk a little about the events you organize and
Sure.
what are their purposes? I am all ears.
Sure. I should say that purposes are kind of same, and the main purpose is speaking skill. We are more focused on this skill, and to be honest, other skills here cannot be covered well because. As you see, it's a cafe. In that case, we can recommend good teachers or good institutes. But as here is a good place for speaking, we are more focused on this skill. And about events that you said, I should say that we are having events for different level of fluencies. Like on each day, we are having a specific event for a certain level of fluency.
So you mean so
students.
you're not focused on accuracy, technically speaking. The mistakes that English learners or visitors, your customers make don't get corrected, right? Or maybe I'm not sure, or maybe sometimes their mistakes get corrected, and maybe you take different approaches to the events and activities you hold in your cafe. Could you please elaborate on what you were saying and the things
Sure.
you do?
Sure. About events, I should say that depends on that event and the level of knowledge and fluency of participants. We give feedbacks, but as I mentioned, considering their abilities of speaking. Like for example, about basic learners, we are having an event on Sundays every week named Finglish.
Finglish.
It means Farsi and English.
Interesting.
So this means we let them even speak in Farsi in case they cannot say something in English. So about basic learners, those who just start speaking, you know that interrupting them can tear apart their thoughts. Like they cannot even talk. They cannot say whatever they, for example, they can say. So this is in fact a fortune for them to just make their mistakes. And at the end, yeah, we give them, for example, delayed feedbacks.
Yeah, delayed feedback or delayed correction.
Delayed corrections, exactly. Sometimes, in some cases, maybe we correct them on the spot. But we consider this fact that we shouldn't interrupt them. About some other events, for example, free discussion on Mondays, that is a sort of advanced free discussion. Delayed corrections are enough. And nothing is going to be taught. You see, they are advanced learners, and the
You don't need to keep correcting them again and again for the sake of
Exactly.
fluency, because
So
your
right.
primary focus is fluency.
That is so
if I'm not
right.
mistaken.
And not bad to mention that for over 2 years we were having another event. It had different names because we were just trying to make our audience choose this event. And that event was filled with feedbacks and corrections and stuff. The latest name for this feedback was Speaking Booster. And you know, it was focused on, let's say, speaking task 2 of IELTS.
Interesting.
IELTS speaking task 2. So every person, we chose a certain topic, every person talked about that topic.
You mean, task, the speaking.
Exactly, that's it.
The IELTS
And,
speaking.
the IELTS
task 2
speaking.
or part 2, yeah?
So right. So we gave detailed feedbacks and corrections to participants, and we see that our audience, they show less interest in these type of events. So that was the time that we understood and we accepted that people who come to cafe for speaking, they
Don't wanna get
enjoy
corrected.
speaking. That's it. You see.
They want to be in an atmosphere different from the atmosphere they experience, for example, in English academies or English institutes.
So right.
And they want to speak English, as I said earlier, without being worried about accuracy, without being worried about making mistakes, and that's why I think that's the one of the reasons, not the only reason. That's one of the reasons why they choose Tourism Cafe. And you have realized that the learners and the English learners who choose the Tourism Cafe don't like getting corrected over and over again. They want to experience something brand new, something fresh, And that's one of the things your cafe provides English learners with.
That's it. In fact, we kind of gave up because we were we kept trying, giving these type of feedbacks, detailed feedbacks to students through these type of events, and later on we see that this is not interesting for the students. As you said, they want to enjoy this, let's say, this nice vibe of feeling free for making mistakes.
And your place has, by the way, suddenly something popped into my head. Your place has good vibes. You got good vibes. I mean, and
definitely.
And I think, you know, you always send out good vibes, and your place is packed with goodbyes, good vibes, and I see your place is packed with goodbyes. Oh my God!
Okay,
what did I say?
Learn what is the difference between good vibe with goodbye.
Yeah. And we want to put that question to y'all.
Sure.
Think about it. And send your answers to us. And but all kidding aside, your place is packed with good vibes, positive vibes, and congrats on to you both on your lovely place. Now, I want to talk about something else. The role that's. By the way, are you done, Mohammad Reza? Anything else?
Yeah, sure. About feedbacks and corrections, as you mentioned, we believe that it's important, and we try to give as much as is needed. But we try not to go further, because we see that we more try to make a safe, let's say, non-judgmental place or vibe for students and English learners to feel free to make their mistakes.
And I think you have succeeded in doing so. And
Hope so.
I think you have. And you do your best not to ruin the fun of speaking English in an English-speaking environment, in an English-speaking atmosphere. So my fingers are crossed for you. Keep it up. Keep up the good work, Mohammad Reza and Shahrzad. Let's hear it for let's hear it for Shahrzad and Mohammad Reza.
You're very good at it, to be honest. Like, you are so good at this. Giving this good feeling of.
Thanks a lot, Mohammad Reza.
Sure, thank you.
And now I want to ask Shahrzad a question, because as I said, you are active on Instagram. I mean, on the
Social media.
Tourism Cafe Instagram page on social media, and you have been in many of their posts. The posts. And what role do you think Instagram has been playing in promoting tourism, in promoting English Tourism Cafe, and in introducing Tourism Cafe to English learners?
Okay. Actually, let's switch to marketing here.
Yeah,
This is like
because you
marketing
did your your master's in MBA.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So, as a matter of fact, when, for example, we establish a place or a good business, people should know us and should be aware of us. But without any channels, they won't have any opportunities to get familiar. So I think social media channels like Instagram are a good chance for us to introduce ourselves to people and to be aware of us. And of course, there are lots of other platforms like YouTube that I don't know how many people, how many Iranian people are into it. But Instagram is a good place that we can tell our stories, and it is important to tell stories to people what we do, because I know lots of people who are afraid of speaking English. Maybe I've seen lots of English teachers who are really good and fluent in speaking English, but they're afraid practicing in a real environment because they think they will be judged. And
they wanna protect their egos.
Exactly.
I'm not a psychologist, but I think
yeah.
there are different protection mechanisms, and sometimes people are, especially English teachers, because as an English teacher, your ego is big or inflated. And English teachers or people try to protect their ego, so they are afraid of speaking in such places because they are afraid of getting judged by their peers or other, for example, learners or others in general.
Exactly.
And you're right.
Exactly. And this is a place this is the reason that then when they do not come out of their comfort zone, they'll be somehow restricted and they won't have any progress in their real life. They'll be stuck in their own place without any progress or progression, let's say. And I think Tourism Cafe has a good and vibrant atmosphere and a really tranquil place that they can, even if they do not want to attend in a gatherings, first off, they just can come in a cozy place, find a cozy place and just listen and look at the others. Just they can have their own cup of coffee or tea, whatever they like, and just listen and see what's going on here.
And get motivated, inspired by other English learners and teachers.
This is what happens, changing their mindset.
Exactly.
This is the main thing that happens in this cafe. For example, imagine an English learner comes here and they see some children who speak very fluently in English, and they are talking about their daily routines. So this is that big change in their mind. Before, they just consider this knowledge a kind of non-practical knowledge that they're just learning in school, in an English school in fact. They're just passing terms to just getting a kind of license or something. But when they come here and they see that all people here, they are speaking in English, so it's nothing. It's very normal. So this is that big change that happens. And for example, about me, it just happened when I had my first trip abroad. This is a great fortune, I think, for English learners to see that it's something normal.
And they can talk about a large variety of subjects and things here. And
sorry, I think the viewpoint here is really important. If I want to talk about myself, I remember that I told you I was at high school. Okay, I studied English. I went to an institute studying learning English. I was the one who always raised my hand up. Always raise my hand up. And for example, when the teacher wanted to ask me something, ask the student something, I was the first to raise the hand, and I said, okay, shall I answer the question? And I made mistakes, lots of mistakes, but I started to laugh. After I made mistake, I said, okay, haha, it's okay. And again, the second question, the third one, the fourth one, it just continued, and I continued answering the questions. And this is the thing that matters. But I had the experience as a teacher that I had a student of my own. he was really fluent in his English. He started from basic levels, but you can't believe it how intelligent that student was. I started teaching IELTS speaking with him as well. Okay, so he was an advanced English learner that time, but unfortunately, I don't know what was the reason. He didn't speak with anyone else. He was just used to me as a teacher, that he wanted just to speak with me. And once I took his hand and brought him in one of the gatherings. The interesting and the bad thing that happened was that he quitted up for always, forever. He quitted up, and he didn't even attended the English classes
Anymore.
No. And he said, okay, he was just, he was afraid of speaking with others. He thought, okay, he will be judged, and he may make mistakes, and he was somehow perfectionist. And this is the thing that I can generalize to others who don't dare to speak. But I can say that I myself, as an English teacher, that I've been studying and learning English for many years, and I think that we always have to be lifelong learners. This is not something that has a point to stop. I always have to read books, to study and learn new things, and continue speaking. And if I don't, okay, I may make mistakes, but I'm not afraid to make mistakes. I say, okay, anyway, it is not my native language. It is the second language that I'm speaking in, and I'm enjoying that. So that's it. I think this is the thing that is important. Not to be perfectionist, not to be, let's say, I don't know, really not to care a lot about your mistakes. Just make mistakes and laugh, but let's say get progress.
And
Progress. And about that ego that you talked about, ego of teachers, it
and
just
learners,
reminded me, as well learners, but it just reminded me of our teacher's room in Sakhir. I remember that no teacher, they were not allowed to speak in English in teacher's room.
You mean was
Not
there a rule?
No. But other teachers, they didn't let you.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't like this.
I know what you're talking about.
As soon as they came out of the classroom, out of the class,
They would stop speaking English.
Speaking in English.
They would switch to Persian. I know what
Persian.
you're talking about. Yeah.
So I remember that in teachers' room, nobody dared to
Speak in English.
No more English. And you see, this is that wrong, I'm gonna say wrong mindset
approach
that should be changed. And it comes from that fear, I think.
Exactly.
The fear of making mistakes.
Exactly. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think as English teachers, thanks, Mehrad. Great, delicious
It was
masala chai.
Like always.
Thank you, Mehrad. So, stick around, pal. Catch you later. So, I help my students, English learners. I mean, as English teachers, we can help English learners in various ways. Did I say as English learners or teachers? As English teachers, I'm not sure. Yeah. As English teachers, we can help English learners in various ways. Okay, and I always try my utmost. I do my best to help English learners, English speakers, overcome their fears. And there are different ways in which we can help English learners overcome, get rid of their fears. And I think your cafe serves different purposes. Undoubtedly, and your cafe is contributing to different communities. Okay, And I believe this lovely place plays different roles and is a motivational place, an inspirational place. And so you are helping and English learners and teachers, and you are helping them discard their fears, and that is something valuable. That is something I value, and I think we ought to take risks as English teachers, as learners, as human beings. We every now and then we need to take risks, calculated risks, and sometimes we should venture out and leave, abandon our comfort zones. And now, in this context, sometimes you should, for example, attend an English course or come to a place like yours, Tourism Cafe, and start speaking English without being worried about getting judged. Without being worried about making mistakes.
Exactly.
And we all make mistakes.
Exactly,
and we
yeah.
shouldn't let perfectionism paralyze us. And as I have said on some other episodes, some people perfectionists usually suffer from perfectionist paralysis. Perfectionism paralyzes them. So they shouldn't allow their perfectionism or their fear of getting judged or their fear of making mistakes stand in their way.
Exactly,
Okay?
and this is
as
what
an
you can-
obstacle.
This is what you can find in tourism environment. People from different non-native countries, they just talk to each other in English because they want to communicate. That's the only, let's say, aim or goal that make them speak in English. And they don't care at all that they're speaking that much correctly or not. At the same time, they're improving their English speaking skill because they keep learning.
Exactly.
By making mistakes, they are learning from their mistakes.
Yeah.
Maybe this sounds not okay to some, so I do apologize, but to be honest, the way I personally look at foreign languages is more like a tool for communication. This is the main goal or main aim that I'm having for learning different languages, to be honest. However,
Are
for
you
me
learning other
personally,
languages? Any other languages?
I just started like
Spanish?
no,
Italian?
no,
German?
that's it.
Why German?
Yeah,
Das ist
that's
richtig.
it.
Why German?
Ich liebe Deutsch.
Oh,
And no, to be honest, like some possible fortunes that you can find in Germany as an open country to immigrants, to be honest. But
I wish you the best of luck, and I
Thank
wish
you
you the best
so
on
much.
your new journey, on your German journey, and I wish you the best.
it's in fact a perfect chance for me to feel whatever basic learners they feel.
Exactly.
Because it was many years ago that I started learning English. So today I cannot feel whatever they feel. But starting to learn a new language, I think
That way
I
you can
can
put
kind
yourself in your learner's shoes.
That's right.
Now I have been teaching English for 15 years.
Yeah.
And, a while ago, around if I'm not wrong, around 6 months ago, I took up the guitar, okay, just for
Oh,
fun, okay?
that's great.
Because sometimes as English teachers, and by the way, for a while I was learning Spanish, and I'm good at learning new languages, but I had to stop it for different reasons, because there were too many items on my plate. There was too much on my plate. So, but I think sometimes learning a new language, when you said that, something crossed my mind. Learning a new language, or for example, learning a new musical instrument like the guitar or the piano, can help us put ourselves in our learner's shoes. And this way, as you said, we can understand basic learners better. And
Exactly, that is so right.
so great.
But I do remember a story I want to share with you. It was a few days ago that I went to the town, the historical part of the city, and I found two tourists from Germany. Okay,
Interesting.
yeah. I found these two tourists, and I wanted to tell them and introduce them to come to Tourism Cafe as a place to visit locals or youngsters to speak with. And I wanted to make them, let's say, interested in this place. So I decided to tell them a sentence in German language.
Can you speak German?
A little bit. And the thing that happened was this. I said this sentence. Je parle ambition German.
So
You know what happened?
French, you mixed French and German.
Yeah. This is something that really happened, and those tourists got shocked.
Yeah, what language are you speaking?
Yeah.
What are you on? Man, are you high? You're mixing three different languages, French, German, and English, if I'm not mistaken.
I think
I think that
this
was
is,
the reason they decided not to.
Actually, she scared them. She scared them.
oh my gosh, yeah. They decided not to come here, unfortunately. I don't know what happened, but I was just wanted to speak in an international language that is a combination of German,
made-up
German,
language.
French, and English. Yes, but I want to say that if you want to talk about, basic English learners or whatever language it is, okay, like me, they somehow may get a stress or something. This happens, and they just, you see, combine the language they're learning with their own, or their native language. That this is something that happened to me. It was many years ago that I was studying French, and I don't know why. Just within those sentences of French, I just remember, je parle,
Yeah.
and je parle, and ambition means a little. Ambition means a little. The sentence means this: I speak a little bit German. Yeah. And German, they themselves, they say Deutsch, but I said, je parle, that means I speak, is French. Ambition, that is a little. Yeah, that's it.
The second one, German or French?
Ambition?
Yeah.
It is German.
German, yeah. So great. And so you have been interested in learning other languages too.
Of course.
And thanks for sharing that funny experience with us, Shahrzad.
Don't mention it. I told you, I'm really famous, so
Yeah.
I can speak in different languages without any fear and without any restrictions or limitations. I speak as much as you want in different languages and sometimes combine them, but just please remember that it is just basic level.
No problem. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because I think sometimes we learn new things, we do activities just as hobbies, just for fun.
Yeah.
And my profession is teaching English, and I am enthusiastic about learning and teaching English. But I am learning the guitar. Guitar is a hobby. in my life, and learning Spanish was a hobby. We shouldn't look at such activities, such hobbies through the lens of perfectionism. Because if when you look at, for example, Spanish or a new musical instrument through the lens of perfectionism, you might give it up after a while.
Exactly.
We ought to look at these activities and we gotta view them as hobbies, not as another thing we want to follow professionally.
Exactly.
And so there is nothing wrong
but how to stop quitting it up? This is something that matters. How to stop quitting these things up?
You mean, for example, when we start?
Yeah.
Actually, I think there are different strategies. First of all, I think, and you put a question to me, now Shahrzad is doing the questions.
I can be your partner in this podcast as well. I can make
Yeah, and I think there are...
make questions, yeah.
Yeah, but to answer your question, I think, first of all, there is nothing wrong with, and this is really important, there is nothing wrong with quitting something you have started, okay? Another thing, I, in my opinion, we should dial down our perfectionism, okay? And we should look at such hobbies and activities, as I said, such activities as hobbies. We shouldn't take them seriously, in my view. And I think we gotta give ourselves time, and I believe, I am a firm believer in the compound effect. When you start something and do it regularly, and when you give yourself enough time, then you in the future, most probably, not definitely, you will enjoy the compound effect, and your efforts will bear fruit at one point or another along the way on your journey. And there are some other things that we can do, but I think I hope I answered your question, Shahrzad.
Yeah, of course. So let's take a leap of faith and see what happens.
Yeah. Thanks. And now, Mohammad Reza, can I ask you another question?
Or you can ask me.
Because
questions.
Yeah, lots of as many questions as it takes.
Sure.
Yeah, as many questions as you want. But just 2 or 3 more questions, and then that's a wrap for this episode.
Oh, what a
episode
pity.
7. Yeah, unfortunately, and episode 7 is my favorite number. 7 and 13.
Sure.
And
you're so lucky.
Yeah. And now, what are? Do you have any plans, for example, to open new branches in Yazd or in other cities? What are your long-term, short-term, mid-term goals for Tourism Cafe?
To be honest, this has been one of the targets of this project, even on very first days. And as one side of this project has been tourism. As I mentioned, from very first days, I was thinking of 3 main tourism cities of Iran. Central. You can guess what cities I'm talking about.
You're talking about the triangle.
Exactly,
the triangle of tourism. Shiraz, Isfahan, and ladies and gentlemen, Yazd.
Yes, perfect.
What
So
a different
good.
countries! Oh my gosh!
Sure, but this is the, I can say, very first prospect or very first goal of this project, to have at least one branch in each of these cities. tourism in this case could be a big help. But as I mentioned, we talked about it. Losing this fortune, we tried to more focus on English learners and English stuff. So I do hope that tourism very soon get back to our country and we find this fortune to have more travelers, like more tourists in our place. This can be a very good, let's say, help for our project, and it can help us to somehow catch up with this this goal.
Yeah, I hope you achieve your goals, and
you.
I hope your goals come true, come alive, and I'm sure there are some other cafes. I'm not sure about Yazd, but in Yazd and in other cities, some other cafes that provide the same or similar environments, okay? And there is nothing wrong with that, okay? I think the more the better, because you all, I don't know how many cafes are doing what you're doing, but you all in your own ways are contributing to the English language community and to different communities, and you all are helping different people learn English, this beautiful international language. And so wonderful, you've done a wonderful job, and I hope you have branches in different, not just the golden triangle of tourism in Shiraz, Isfahan and Yazd, in other cities. And I think, sorry, now I am going at length, and now there is no stopping me. You know, as I was once watching a movie, Lincoln, about President Lincoln of the United States, and in the movie, Daniel Day-Lewis, who played Lincoln, says, when I start, I get too lazy to stop. You know, now there is no mute button on me, so stop me if you can. but
We're okay with it. I'm not sure about the listeners. I don't know what.
No, I'm not sure either. You know, I don't want to.
I hope you're following us till now, and you'll continue listening. I don't know till morning.
Yeah, and I hope, no offense, I hope I am not talking the listeners' heads off. But so I hope you. I hope you keep on doing what you've been doing. And frankly speaking, I wanted to say something, but it slipped my mind, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It wasn't because of my interruption.
No.
I'm sure about it. It wasn't my fault. But you see, it is just a matter of your mind. Sorry.
Maybe it helps you remember what you wanted to talk about. I should thank friends and people who helped us a lot on this path, reaching whatever we could reach today. However, I see that there is a long way to pass yet. And as we talked, there are some more of these cafes, fortunately, today. And I think this is the new culture of learning foreign languages. People changed their mind about this, and it's happening. So in near future, even English institutes, they should think of new methods. However, we could see that in new books from many years ago, that they are trying to somehow lead students to speaking semi or controlled practices, you know, helping them talk more and more. And this is happening. So shout out to MY.
Oh, thank you very much. Oh, thanks a lot.
This was a great fortune for us to be on your podcast. Thank you so much for this great fortune and this
it's a
much of
pleasure.
energy and
Thanks
sure,
for
we do appreciate it.
accepting my invitation, and thanks for everything. And by the way, I just remembered what I wanted to say
So good.
before we wrap up this episode and our conversation. Let me say what I wanted to
Sure.
say. I think now, as they say, we live in a global village. Okay. And the world is interconnected. Okay, so we should learn English and some other languages, because there are some other beautiful languages. But English is an international language, and we shouldn't be worried about getting westernized and the stuff. I think through English, and nowadays, luckily, there are many teenagers, many children who speak English beautifully with great accents, and it's unbelievable. I think times have changed. And now we are living in a new era, and through English, through my favorite language, we can, introduce our customs. By our customs, I mean Iranian customs, our traditions, local customs, local traditions, dishes, whatever, different things to people around the world. So English has the potential to do lots of great things for each and every single one of us and for our country. So thanks for everything. I am done, and I think it's time to say goodbye. So, anything else?
Thank you so much. Again, we really appreciate this great fortune that NY dedicated us, and
A pleasure.
being the number 7 episode.
Episode
Wow.
7, yeah.
The lucky number.
Yeah.
We were
Lucky
with
number.
you in MY podcast. I told you,
Yeah.
one of the best podcasts
Oh.
all over the world.
Surely, yes,
So
and
don't miss it.
Keep
Please,
going.
don't do that
This
to
is
me.
This is as well a very new thing that is happening not just in our city but even in our country.
Yeah.
Podcasts, and we keep our fingers crossed for you. It's a great job that you're doing, and
Nice.
best of best for you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks
You
for.
can count on us.
I know I can count on great friends like you and Shahrzad.
Thank you.
Thanks for
so
accepting
much.
my invitation.
Thanks for your invitation, and it was really our fortune to be here with you and in this great podcast.
The pleasure is all mine. Wish you the best. Hope to see you around sometime soon. Hopefully, hope to see you around soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Keep on doing what you've been doing, and I wish you the best on your journey.
Sure. Thank you.
You too. Bye.